The thing about life is, it's unpredictable. All of these different occurrences that lead to one big moment, that lead to another big moment, that just continues to open more options. You might think you have it all figured out, only for the ride of life to twist you and turn you all around and make you forget what direction you were even going to begin with. And that is the same with the story of Amazi, Woman of the Year. It's a true testament of how, in the blink of an eye, everything in your life can change. Your perception of yourself, your perception of the world, everything. And it'll never be the same. Amazi grew up in a super small town, and upon a young age, she already knew that she had huge dreams. She used to tell her mom all the time, like, I'm gonna be on TV one day, and her mom would call her fiance and be like, I know, baby, I know. And from that moment forth, she kind of had her sights locked on being the best. Eventually they moved to a bigger city where ultimately she thrived. She was head of the cheerleading squad. She was top of her class. And the thing about Amazi is that even though she was that girl, she was actually really that girl. She had such a kind heart. She was so sweet to everybody. She made a point to tap in with the community, not because she had to, because she was trying to get those college credits, because trust, she had that in her mind. But really, she cared for people. She had a sensitivity to her peers and the people around her, and she just loved to give love. She was a part of the choir, and she loved to connect with God. And everything about her just radiated goodness, and you couldn't deny her when you were in her presence. Eventually, she got to the end of high school, and she was able to mark something off of her bucket list already. She was the prom queen. That is something she had dreamed about ever since she was a little girl, when her mom would call her fiance, and she wanted nothing more but to just immediately call her mother and tell her that she had won. But something that a lot of people weren't made aware of about Amazi is that when she was 14 years old, both of her parents died in a fatal car accident, leaving her to go live with her mother's sister, her aunt, who had an alcohol problem, and so they tended to disagree and get into little spats. It was a stressful environment, so that made this whole prom situation so bittersweet. She was so proud of herself, but also it really kind of felt like it didn't really mean much, knowing that her parents couldn't see it. And so prom night came, and that was a prominent night, because as she sat there and received all this love from all of her peers, and the whole school cheered her on, everyone believed that she deserved it. There was still something in her that felt like none of this mattered. As she stood on that stage, she thought about all the nights she cried herself to sleep, just begging God to let her visit with her parents one more time. How alone she felt in a room full of people. And she started to feel overwhelmed, and she had to get out of there immediately. Hardly able to catch her breath, she runs outside and just takes off walking. Crown in her hand, still holding her flowers, she just walks. Completely distraught, she's walking down the street, and she's digging through her bag, and she finds a picture of her parents, and she just is talking to them, and she's like, why did you have to go? You knew how important this was to me. Why are you not here? And she was just so upset. She could not understand how everyone believes she has everything, and she feels like she has nothing. then all of a sudden she felt something tap her on her shoulder, and she turns around, frightened. And she sees in the distance what looks like her parents. And she stares and she looks closer because she knows what she sees and she knows what she feels. Her heart stops. She hears her father say, "Baby, please don't cry." And she hears her mother say, "Shiance, always protect the sweetness of your heart." Stunned, speechless, she just stands there staring. She knows what she sees and she knows what she heard and she knows what she feels, but how? Still in a trance, she's trying to make sense of everything, and she hears, "Hey, you okay?" Coming back to, she looks up and she sees a man wearing a red hat, tattoos. He's trying to flag her down to get her attention. She says, "Yeah, I'm okay. I thought I saw somebody." He said, "Yeah, you look like you saw a ghost." She's like, "Yeah." And he says, "Well, let me get you a taxi. Make sure you make it home okay." She said, "Thank you so much." He flags down a taxi, tells her to be safe, tells the guy to take good care of him, and hands him a $20 bill as a tip. She's still completely in a trance.